Welcome to another episode of Peers Over Beers, your favorite digital and social evangelist podcast, with your industry veteran hosts, Michael Sandoval and Chris Tetzel. This podcast starts now. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Peers Over Beers. I'm one of your hosts, Michael Sandoval.
And I'm Chris Stetzel.
Hello, Chris. How are you doing?
Pretty good, man. It came off as something super exciting. But anyways.
Oh, I can tell by your voice it is.
but let's not talk about that. No, I'm just joking.
No, exactly. Yeah, just bury the lead. We'll just get it. No, I was going to tell you that I'm just, as you know, I live in El Paso, Texas, and we've been having this weather that's been like 105 all the way through September. You know, in the middle of September. Now it's finally cooled off, and it feels so good to sit outside, man.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another really cool thing.
Yeah.
There are bats in my neighborhood.
What?
Yeah. So when we sit outside, and as soon as the sun begins to set, the bats start to fly out. They're Mexican free-tail bats. They're great.
Oh, wow.
They eat all of the mosquitoes. It is awesome.
That is good. They don't really try to eat you or anything.
No. They're just awesome. And they swirl, and they're echolocating, and they're bouncing off things. It's amazing how they flutter, and they're not only at my place, but they're my parents' place too. And they're awesome. Anyway, I just thought that was fun to share.
No, that is. It's. I've not really experienced that before.
Oh, you've never had bats as pets?
No, I've seen them on. Like a Dracula movie or something,
Speaking of, and I know we have other things to talk about, but have you ever seen a movie called, not a movie, I'm sorry. I think it might be up your alley. I'm not too sure. It is called, in fact, it was listed as one of the like top cult like series of 2020, but it's called In the Shadows. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's from FX. And it is hilarious. Yeah. It's basically a mockumentary of when mockumentaries are funny. So it's got that kind of first person video thing going on of a household of vampires just trying to make ends meet in Staten Island, and it is really, really funny.
No, I haven't, but I do like those. Not necessarily that kind of show, maybe, but vampire type shows.
So yeah. So if you like vampire shows and you're okay with mockumentaries, this is totally up your alley. It is hilarious. Very, 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 very funny.
I need a new show to watch, so I'll definitely go watch it.
Yeah, you totally should. But but alas, that's something else. But my friend, you said you got off of something that was really, really exciting.
Yeah, so I appreciate that.
Was that a good transition?
Yes, it was really good. Talk a little bit about bats and things like that. But no, it's something really cool happened. So, look, Ask Me Anythings aren't new, and it's not anything that it's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. These are what I do, but it is amazing because um, I'm hearing an echo, Michael. Do you hear that at all or no?
No, like, do you hear me?
Yeah, no echo there, but for some reason I have an echo in mine. Hopefully there's no echo later.
No, it sounds cool, but maybe I'll turn down my volume a little bit or something. Maybe that helps.
Okay.
Yeah, you look clear.
Okay, great. So about a month ago or so, let's go backwards. About 3 or 4 months ago, maybe 5, I started this whole webinar program, and and I think we've talked about this on a episode before, but and it was all about the product, and it was an expert talking about the product. We'd have Q&A, kind of during the session, customers ask the question. We still have it, and it's very successful, and it's an organic thing. So we're not going to a third-party service and allowing somebody else to kind of manage it. So we're not getting 600 or 700 people on it, but we are getting, all the way from like 30 to 60 people on these webinars every time. Anyways, so I thought I would try something a little different because we have a product called Database Activity Monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
It's called DAM, which is an on-prem product that it's a cybersecurity product that Imperva has.
Yep.
And so I thought, you know what? Why not have an Ask Me Anything live session? My goal was several things. One is, how can I get people more active and engaged? And maybe they have a lot of questions. I think they do. A lot of my questions on the online community is around the on-prem products.
Hmm.
and specifically around database activity monitoring. It's an older product, it's on prem, and so it's a lot more complex. So it's just a lot more things that you have to do, and that's why I think that's why you have so many questions. And Imperva's been around for 20 years, so
Yep.
it's a pretty old product. But then there are a lot of people with the questions. So I thought, you know what? Let's organically try to get questions and things like that. Um, so when we had it today, so this is fresh off kind of the whole thing, and so I think we had 35 people and about 20 to 25 questions. And so what I did was, um,
And just to go back, did you
yeah, yeah,
I know you said you went to get questions, but did you source these questions internally, or did you just wait? You just kind of said, "Hey,
no,
ask me." You didn't ask me anything. Call, right? Call for AMA.
yeah, so well, good point. So I did a little homework before, and those people that RSVP'd for the event. So again, Higher Logic has this really cool event management backend to where you can send an invite to all the people within the community,
Oh, right, right,
and they
right. Yeah,
accept it,
yeah.
and they get an invite and everything else, and then you go in the back end to see who accepted it. And so I sent all those people an email and said, basically, hey, look, I'm looking at hosting this AMA in the next week. So I think I did this the week before. Uh, we are trying to seed this with questions, so beforehand, and would love your answers to the questions. And then I started getting a few in, and then I posted a few, like on Monday. So today is Friday. So on the community, I posted a
Mm,
thread
mm.
that basically said the same thing, and then I sent out another email to them, and people started asking questions specifically in there, right?
No joke.
Um, yeah, dude, you could. I'll post it in the notes.
Yeah.
But basically, then what happened was, so lots of people started. I think I got like 9 or 10 this morning, like by this morning, um, and so when I got on the call, I let people know because my goal is to try to get people to post on the community, right, as
Right.
much as possible. I just got to push it, and I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to get them to post. I'm going to put the link into the Zoom chat, have them click it, and then post from there. So they'll have to log in and everything else. But then I said, additionally, it's okay if you don't. You can put it in the chat of the Zoom, and we'll still ask it, and we'll post it later, and then they answer. Um, so a lot of people, interesting enough, during that whole session, as we were answering the questions, they posted questions on the community. And even cooler is, well, I think it's cool. I
Organically,
just
they just started just posting stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They started posting stuff, and so what I did was, instead of um, taking questions from the chat at first, I did take a few, but I went to the community, shared my screen, and showed the post, and just started asking questions from the discussion
Ah,
post,
good
right?
idea. That's a good one.
And um, then I had four experts, maybe five, but more specifically, four, I think, experts on the line. We had our video on and everything else, and then I started asking, and they started answering. And every now and then there was a follow-up question by, one of the customers on the phone. So they asked. So I think we had like 35-ish people on the call.
That is not a
Um,
bad deal.
no, it was awesome. Look, I got like 20 something questions from this. I'm going to have 20 something answers from this. And what can I do with all of this good stuff instead of just posting it? Oh, yep, it's there. The cool thing is I can create several, uh, I think one of the content pieces I could create is just a one pager with all those Q and A's, right? And so Google starts picking some of that up. And then the other piece is, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do this yet, because you remember I was telling you about the um, case deflection widget that we're building. So
Yes.
I got to figure out how, when a customer puts in a case, how does that pop up? Will it only pop up on individual posts, or will it pop up on, if they're putting it in there, will it still pop up, of like a string of 10 or 20, or you know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm.
Uh, and so if it doesn't do that, then I have to just kind of just go post, answer. But in the meantime, there is one long post with questions, and then the experts will now go in there and answer it. Additionally, I did record it, and so once that kind of recording is done and finished, I will have uh, have everybody, I will have it there for people to look at. And something I thought about doing with the video is potentially like cutting some of it, like question answer.
That's
I don't
exactly
know
what
if
I'm
I
gonna
can
tell
do
you.
it. Yeah. So I thought about doing that, but that's like 20 questions, 20 questions. But still, and then maybe even from a Google standpoint, I want to make sure I post the answer specifically in written text, right? And then maybe even the answer specifically with the um with the video, because the video is going to have way more context or
Mhm.
information in it than just the post itself. Make sense?
It does.
So it's really cool. It was really fun. I'm going to do another one in October, and I think I might do some mini ones in the future, depending on um, how this next one goes. So
That is impressive. So what do you think was the attraction? I mean, 36, or I think you said 36. That's
yeah,
impressive for a
35, but
live
yeah,
event. Uh, in my opinion. I mean, I'm sure the people have been like, "Oh, I get hunters over the time," but
yeah, I do. But
for a growing community, I was going to say not quite mature yet, but a growing community, that's pretty good.
yeah, we're not even a year
I mean,
old, so yeah, I agree.
think about it. Someone spent maybe 30 minutes of their time. I don't know how long it was.
Is an hour.
An hour of their time. Multiply that by their hourly wage. These are well paid devs, right? Security
Yeah, well paid.
individuals
Yeah, that's right.
who found it valuable enough to take that day, an hour of their time to listen in, right? That's
Yeah,
pretty compelling. Um, and ask questions. So that not only that, not is one thing to listen and doing something else, but they were like actively listening, which is actually more that's engaged uh, listeners. And if you help them through, if they found it valuable and compelling, they'll come back to your community again and keep participating, and that'll pay off in the long haul.
here's what it also did, Michael,
Mm.
which I think this is normal, but so I posted all those questions in there, or the customers actually posted it in there, and then other questions started coming up about some of the same products on the community, just not on that one post.
You know what I mean?
They started answering the questions for me, like this freaking works, dude. Like people are just now excited and they're
They get
answering other
excited and they
questions.
start answering.
Other questions, yeah. Well, I would do,
See,
and this
doesn't
one
it feel
guy,
good when it's like working?
yeah, this shit works, dude. So, so but you know, the more get people to feel excited about using their product better, about connecting with others. At the end of the day, what's going to happen is, and it's harder to prove, is that they're going to buy more. They're going to adopt your product even more.
Yep.
They'll become advocates, and all these really cool things that you want. But this takes time, right? Like, and so I'm starting to. I wouldn't say see the fruits, but you're starting to see the activity and the engagement in some of these people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really exciting to see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but anyways, that was my kind of like I was so pumped because what I did afterwards was um, we have a Slack channel internally, and so I posted it in my community hashtag community Slack channel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
said, oh my god! And I also took a picture, and I'll probably do this on LinkedIn later. But I took a picture of the people, not the customers, but the experts and myself on there, right? And I posted in the all Imperva, and I said, "This is what it's about." Right? Like customers are engaging. Uh, Thanks so much to these guys. They, talked about kind of
Mm.
what they did. They answered over 20 questions.
So
Here's the
giving
post.
some props to those who participated.
Yeah, just not just props, but then always say a little thing like, um, "What matters the most here is what we do with this data. Customers are talking to us about our product, our damn product, and what we do with this damn product." Or these damn answers to the damn
Damn
product.
answers. I get the double entendre. Very good.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
good. Very
The
good.
damn the damn answers to the damn product
Yeah, these damn
uh,
answers
is up to us.
to these
You know
damn
what I
questions.
mean? It was great because I sent an email out to customers to say, "Have your damn questions answered by our damn experts," or something like that. But it's DAM, like
Yes,
luckily
yes, yes,
capitalized.
yes.
So maybe that was helpful in the engagement. I don't know, but um, so I kind of push the internal stuff because sometimes that's harder to do than the external. So customers just will participate. You just have to give them a avenue to do it,
Mm.
and sometimes the harder part is getting the organization to kind of see it, because a lot of things in these bigger organizations like mine are just disoriented, disorganized, or or fragmented in a sense, right? Marketing's not talking to the customer success not talking to blah, this company, you know what I mean? So it's all. So I'm trying to figure out a way to bring it all together.
But I mean, to kind of maybe bring it a little bit more home, and let me ask you some questions. So,
Yeah.
uh, like I'm sure, like any large kind of software company, there are probably customer events that are physically done, and in today in COVID, you can't do that anymore. I mean, you basically held the audience of 36 individuals for an hour, right?
Yeah.
And if you think about it, the only thing I can think of in equal weight would be to do like a customer uh, show or a customer, where the company goes to a city where they have a high concentration of their customers. They invite people. There's a cost associated with all of that
Mm.
food, location, and the like. And there's a presentation that goes on. And then there's some mingling that usually happens as a result, and that's where people get their questions answered, which is really the reason why they win. Uh,
Yeah, and those are like kind of these
Customer
mini
events,
groups. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I
Um,
can think of that's similar. But I mean, do people understand the I would say the gravity of what you just did, which is you were able to do this for relatively low cost, get them immediately what they needed, which is answers, specific, incredibly some damn answers to some damn questions. Um,
some goddamn answer. Yeah,
I could go on.
we could.
I mean, like somehow that has to be kind of shown. Like this is a very workable solution in this, especially in this time, and it can only help you get some more content.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the things I'm learning is that I think it's slow moving. Does that make sense? So the things that I'm
Absolutely,
doing,
it's slow
people
moving.
are
I wish I could express
excited.
that more and more.
But there is the positive is that there is movement, but it's very slow. You don't see it. Sometimes I kind of thought about this, and I was putting a presentation together
Mm,
the other day, and something made me realize it's like, from a community standpoint, we've really accomplished a ton. I can't express that too much, like, and so it got me on the thought of what have we this year accomplished, because I already have a presentation that says what I accomplished last year. Now I'm trying to think about, well, because I want to capture it all, because by the end of the year I want to have all these things. And so far it's big. It's a big deal, and the organization kind of sees it. You hope they do, and sometimes you wonder. You don't always know. Even if you ask somebody, they don't. Yeah, yeah, they get their own priorities and focus. And so that's the challenge at the end of the day, is how do you, one, yes, you have to show ROI and all those things, which is extremely difficult, especially if you don't have the resources. But as I mentioned before, is our community is being integrated into the business systems this year. So that is a big positive and really sets us up even more from a data standpoint
yep.
to be super successful on showing the ROI more. Now, it's not a full fledged ROI because, again, that just will start at the end of this year. Does that make sense
Mm-hmm.
from a data and case deflection and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it is the start of something I think extremely cool, and what I've built is no easy feat. Like, I'm not trying to brag, but like, I've done some cool shit here.
As they say, not to
It
toot
feels
my own
like
horn, but toot toot.
toot toot. Yeah, I mean, but no, I mean seriously, like, I can't. It just, look, I mean, other people have been involved, but a lot of that is you've got to push those people to get involved. Like today I had four experts, and they were great. They were answering. I mean, they're going to get on later and start replying directly to these questions. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, dude, these guys are just phenomenal. But that's the goal at the end of the day, is to get the organization behind you, getting the people excited about community. And the positive is, so far so good for me.
Yeah. Well, as we're getting kind of close, what do you think were, just to help listeners, what do you think were some success points like, why did it work?
Well, I think you just have to do a little bit of preparation, right? Like, during some of the webinars that you're already on. Like, for example, I mean, we've had a webinar every week, and I've been telling people more and more about it. Right, I've invited, people directly to it through an invite, on the community. I email people to let them know about it directly to say, hey, and then you engage the customer. Say, hey, I need your help. This is not a presentation, by the way. So if you're going to get on, what you say you are, um,
Oh, so you did a little
then
bit of follow up.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I asked them to give me questions to the damn webinar, to the AMA, ask me anything, damn webinar. Um, so yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you have to do that. I mean, you can't just like invite them and then think they're going to ask questions. They're not going to do it. Um, so do a little bit of prep. I think over time, as you build relationships with these people, you get to know what kind of things that they are looking for. And I thought, you know what? This could be very successful, and I think it's what they're looking for. It's what I'm looking for from an engagement. So it's a little selfish, but it worked, like so yeah. I think just prepare a little bit. It's these aren't that difficult. There's work involved, but it's not, to me, hosting webinars is pretty easy because pretty much somebody else is answering all the questions. I don't know the answers. So facilitating is just what I do basically.
Well, kind of talking through it, just listening to you, I kind of I've heard a few things. See if this works.
Yeah.
So one is you can't really start off an AMA without understanding what the community wants. So I
Right.
heard the words like you did some research and said this looked like this damn conversation, to use that over again. It was probably a very important conversation to have because a lot of questions are
Yeah.
getting in. So that was kind of one. So one, understanding your audience of what they really want. Two, prep. And I kind of look at the prep in two different ways. One is um, sending, how are you going to organize it? What type of question? You got to get some questions in. So there's
Yeah.
definitely finding some content, right? But the other part was on marketing it. So how do you in some way, I think you used it one to do the other. So you would send out some information, a call for AMA, calling for questions. That in itself was your marketing to get people to show up. And then that allowed for those who maybe responded, allowed you to go off and ask them to come and participate, right? Three was people. So with your ability, you went to the internal individuals to find the subject matter experts to participate, which is great.
Yeah.
And you knew the right people on your community that would participate too. And then the last one was you have to know how to facilitate the live event. And it sounded as if like this was not your quote unquote first rodeo. You have done some of these similar in the past, but I thought the interesting way of doing it was showing the question and answer as you're sharing the screen with you showing it on the community itself. So
Yeah.
it was an immediate pool that, hey, I'm not just pulling this out of my OneNote. This is actually on the community.
Yeah.
Um,
This person asked it, and it has
yeah,
their name on it, right? Like,
yeah, yeah,
it's Michael Sandoval says this,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it's not Chris Detzel just posted on their behalf, or anything like that.
yeah.
So yeah, no, man, that's exactly the way it was. And I'm glad I had the chance to share on this. I was just super excited about kind of the win there. Now, here's one thing that I would say that I would do it a little bit differently. One, I'd probably just read the questions out loud to myself before the webinar. Uh, you know, Even though more are coming in, you can still do a little prep of that. And then two is, tell the expert, because the expert, as I'm reading it, was, oh yeah, 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 and then just wants to go in to answer it. And I did this kind of throughout the webinar. I said, Brian, let me say the whole thing because this is a webinar and they're not seeing this.
Yeah, it's like somebody asks a question in the audience and they never repeat the question.
Yeah. So that's the thing is, finish the question, because what if somebody's only listened to audio,
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
or something like that. So um, we just have to be mindful of, it's not just the people in the audience, that it's also those people in the future that could potentially be listening to these videos. So that's it, man. It was fun. It was a blast. I was so excited, and I'm glad I got to share it
Yeah,
on
I'm glad
this
you shared it too,
podcast.
man. And congratulations for having such a great AMA. That's it's always feels good. You can almost like say to yourself, "I'm done. It's Friday. I'm done.
I know, but I
Drop the
wasn't. I was
mic.
like,
I am done."
that's exactly the way I felt.
Yeah,
I was like,
I'll
oh,
pick up my bonus check on the way out the door today. Thank you very much.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But
Oh, that's too funny. Well, sir, thanks for sharing, and I think we've successfully wasted another 20 minutes.
25-16. So,
I mean that in a good way. No, no, I don't know. We it's all too fun. Thank you so very much, Chris, for sharing. I really appreciate it.
of
And
course.
thank you very much for all y'all for listening. My name is Michael Sandoval. Thank you very much for listening.
And I'm Chris Stetzel.
All right. Thank you guys very much. You have a good weekend.